Well, when we think of the word hope, we often think about a feeling or a state of mind. But One Chicago Company is shifting that conversation around hope, presenting it as a skill, something that can be learned and something that can also be practiced. I cannot wait to hear more about this. We have the founder of the Shine Hope Company, Catherine Getsky, here in studio. It's so great to have you here to talk about this.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. Thanks for having me.
And I learned, by the way, that hope, the color of it is yellow. I did not know that. So I'm glad you're channeling that this morning.
That's right. You're on brand. I appreciate that.
I'm glad you're here to talk about it. So your idea of teaching hope, it's more than just about a strategy. It is a strategy. It's not just a wish. That's what you say, right?
Yes. A lot of people think of hope as a wish, and hope is not just a wish. It's actually a measurable and teachable skill. So I've been studying and created the first global evidence-based program to teach how we hope, how we actually cultivate hope in our lives.
And with it being a skill, is there one short thing that you can tell people about how to even start that?
Yeah, well, SHINE is a mnemonic we use for how we teach hope. So it stands for stress skills, happiness habits, inspired actions, nourishing networks, and how we eliminate challenges, which are negative thinking patterns. But the one thing I say people should always learn is how to identify and manage your stress response, your 90-second stress response. When you get triggered by something, you go into your downstairs brain. You can't think, you can't collaborate, you can't communicate. You can basically destroy everything you hope for in your life if you don't learn how to manage that stress response.
Yeah, and one thing that I know for you starting this company, it was really personal and it was sparked by something personal.
Yes, it was. So I actually had my own suicide attempt in my 20s, and my dad died by suicide when I was 18 years old. I was a freshman in college, and it led to a lot of persistent hopelessness for myself. And looking into, I did a lot of global mental health work and advocacy and wanted to create a suicide prevention program. And looking into the literature, hopelessness came up as the single consistent predictor of suicide and the primary symptom of depression and anxiety. And I thought, why don't I know what this is and how to get to hope? And they were measuring hope, but they weren't actually teaching you how to hope.
It's so true, because you hear that word so often.
Yes,
and before today, I had never thought of it as a skill, and something that I could practice and institute in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing that they've been actually measuring hope around the world for a long time. So there's a hope scale on our website. There's a children's hope scale and adult hope scale, 6 questions or 8 questions, and it will tell you so much about how long you live, if you're likely to graduate school, how well you do in sports, how quickly you recover from illness, all kinds of things. And so it's really important that we learn what our score is and how to actually get better at it.
And one of the things that this also is about is hopelessness. Studies show that more and more people are experiencing hopelessness. So what are some of the persistent risk factors or things that people might notice about not being able to manage their feelings leading to this hopelessness?
Yeah, and so my goal is really to normalize our conversation around hopelessness, because the reality is we all experience moments of hopelessness really all the time. When you break down hopelessness, it's 2 things. It's both emotional despair, so you feel sad, angry, afraid, and you feel a sense of helplessness. So there's that powerlessness component, and it's the combination of those 2, the sadness, the emotional despair, and the sense of helplessness. When you combine them, that's what hopelessness really is. And so it's learning how to manage our despair in healthier ways and how to get out of helplessness into inspired actions. And we experience, again, moments of hopelessness all the time. It's just learning how to manage them in healthier ways. You know, a job loss, a move, an illness, all kinds of things. You know, what's happening, there's a lot of things happening right now that are triggering our moments of hopelessness, but it's really how are we managing those moments of hopelessness that matters. And that's where SHINE comes in, and that's where you have to learn how to shine, and the more challenges you have, the more you have to shine hope.
Okay, and one of the things that we wanted to talk about as well is the International Day of Hope. That is on July 12th.
Yes, so excited.
And you're really instrumental in helping this come to life. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a representative at the UN for the World Federation for Mental Health, and I've been pushing for an International Day of Hope for a long time, where we have one day that we talk about hope, the science of hope, and how we become more hopeful. So around the world, this is the first year ever that we're going to be celebrating this International Day of Hope. Thank you. July 12th. April is also National Hope Month, so we're going to be doing a lot in April. Chicago's become a hopeful city. We need this global movement and momentum around hope.
Oh my goodness. Catherine Getzke, founder of the Shine Hope Company. Thank you for inspiring this and for also being here to share it with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I also want to note that if you're watching it and you're thinking, I have got to learn more about this, you can learn more at about the Shine Hope Company and its mission on the website. It's theshinehopecompany.com.